with the Kansas City Chiefs and the New England Patriots. Seeing this matchup earlier this year, it came into a shootout. Remember, they was down by 13 points. I think the final score was 46-42. I don't have it in front of me. I gotta go back and look. But they was down by 13 points at half in Kansas City, and then just like Pat Mahomes lit it up in the second half. Somehow, some way, the Patriots still found a way to win. But one thing I noticed about the Kansas City Chiefs is that they struggled to stop the run. And I noticed that early on throughout the season. I think the following week they went back home and they played the Cincinnati Bengals, and Joe Mixon had a pretty decent game against that up front. Now this has been something to me that's kind of been the trend all year. Defensively, to say that they play okay defense, play solid defense, this is what's holding them back, if you ask me. I think this is the problem that's kind of holding the Kansas City Chiefs back. Now you're gonna play in Tom Brady, who's used to playing on the road, he used to playing in the cold, and knowing that he wants to get back to the Super Bowl after he lost last year to a backup quarterback. I think Tom Brady wants to be there bad. He wants to get to Atlanta. I get that. So I want to see this week when if they're going to slow down Sony Michelle. How they're going to slow down the weapons in time with Tom Brady had. Julian Edelman had a big day this past weekend. I just want to see, or if the Patriots are going to be exposed for being cheap. To me, that's my biggest thing, because even remember when they played the Tennessee Titans and Deion Lewis said, "This is what you get for being cheap." And how much longer can you play off of fundamentals? After a while, talent do take over. And I'm not saying that the Tennessee Titans are better than the New England Patriots. On that given Sunday they were, but in general as a franchise, oh hell no, at all. But I'm saying from a degree, how much longer can you play off of fundamentals and not have the pure talent as other teams? You don't have a Tyreek Hill. You don't have the true healthy tight end anymore. I mean, Gronkowski is in and out, in and out. He's not what he used to be. So you don't have a Travis Kelsey. My biggest thing is, though, with the not New England Patriots, with the Kansas City Chiefs is you playing longer into the season and there's no Kareem Hunt. If there was still a Kareem Hunt on this football team, and even as a Saints fan, if they had to go play the Kansas City Chiefs in Atlanta, I'm very concerned. For the fact of the matter is, that's going to be the young man, the X factor out of all three of them other guys on offense, between Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelsey, and also Tyreek Hill, the three-time ballers on that offensive side. He was going to be the X factor. For the fact of the matter is, he could slow the game down, and also he could do so much for you coming out the backfield as well. He could catch balls coming out the backfield as well. So this is my thing. If you ask me, I'm sorry. Now the game is. I mean, listen. You got to play the team that's been the team to beat for years now. How can you slow the game down for them? This is the time I want to see how much Kareem Hunt is really worth. Like, what's truly his value, if you ask me. Like, really, what's his value? What is his value to the Kansas City Chiefs with him not being there now? Like, I could see the headlines with them losing, and if they don't have a good day rushing the football, people gonna start saying, well, not having a great day, not having the best of running backs. You had a top 5 running back in the NFL. You let him go because of domestic abuse. Now he's not, now you start to pay for it at the wrong time in the year. I mean, that's not his fault, but he put himself in that position. You can only blame yourself for your own actions. But the whole time I'm saying is how now is always something with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's always something. They couldn't get past the wild card last year to the Tennessee Titans. They couldn't get back to Foxborough. I think they would have went to Foxborough last year. They went to Pittsburgh. They couldn't get back to Foxborough. Remember, they took down them week 1 on Banner Night. Couldn't get back. Now you get them to come to you. It's going to be interesting this weekend to see what's going to happen with Kansas City and the New England Patriots. If you ask me, I think somehow, some way, I think Belichick on the game plan around it. I think they're going to try to put their best effort to slow down Pat Mahomes. And I think New England is going to get the upset on the road by 3 points. And I think it's going to be a 31-28 game. I think New England wins this game by 3 points. And to me, if Kansas City lose, this team has nothing to worry about. Maybe go out and get a more stud at tailback, but and get some more pieces on defense. But this team has got a good shot to be good for a long time. As long as Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes working together, he's gonna be one of the more dangerous teams in the league for a long time. It might not just be their year, but I think New England win this game by 3. I do. I really think New England win this game by 3 points going into this weekend. So let's move on to the other side. The other one, yes, the who that said they're gonna beat them Saints. To be quite honest with you, I haven't played that in a while. Who's showing, one thing about the Saints since the Philadelphia Eagle game back in Week 11, when they put up a lot of points. And even when the following week on Thanksgiving, when they played the Falcons, they didn't play their best offensive game. But I will say this: since Philly putting up them 48, they kind of cooled off from there. But defensively, the defense have found ways to get turnovers. Even when they went to Dallas, the defense only gave up 13 points. The offense could get you past 13 that night. But it's okay. Defensively, the defense have improved dramatically. They gave up, 14 to Tampa Bay. They gave up 9 to Carolina and on the road that Monday night game. And I think I'm trying to remember how many they gave up that night against, I think they gave up 28 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got to go back and look. I don't have it all in front of me right now. But at the end of the day, defensively, they've been playing a lot better. After that 14-0 start, I'm not even going to count when they play Carolina, the season closing. I'm not going to count that. But even after that 14-0 hole that they found themselves in with Nick Foles, who I thought was about to take it over and just go from there, defense locked up. They put themselves in better positions. They made adjustments, and they didn't give up another touchdown for the rest of the game for another 3 quarters of football. And to me, that's truly, and let me put it like this. One thing I will understand is that Philadelphia don't have a true running back. J.J.'s out. They let go of LeGarrette Blount. LeGarrette Blount not there anymore either. So it's kind of like you're sitting back, you're looking around. It was just kind of, you can just sit back, you can play a little coverage, You can't do that this week. You're going to have Tiger and C.J. Anderson coming at you this week. My thing is, and I've just been kind of paying attention to it, is not having Cooper Kupp to me is really going to be the difference for the Los Angeles Rams, because I think Cooper Kupp can really do it all, and he's just a little bit more of a stud to me than Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods. And I'm not disrespecting them two, because them two had 1,000 yards apiece this year. But I just think Cooper Kupp is truly the game changer between the 3 receivers, and because I just think he can do more to me. I think he's more the solid body. He's just a monster coming out the slot. I think he just create more with him on the field, open up so much more for the other two. And I think if you could slow this offense down, bro, and really truly go both ways. If the Saints can slow the Rams down, and if the Rams can slow the Saints down, we can really see a different type game than we saw the first time. But I'm not as nervous, because I think the Saints know what they got to do now to get to Atlanta. So you ask me, I think I got the Saints winning this game regardless. I mean, if the Saints were still the underdogs, I still have them winning regardless. But I know football. But I all in all, the Rams starting to come out saying the Superdome wasn't as loud. But I think the Superdome's going to be rocking this weekend, because we haven't been to the Super Bowl in about 10 years. So a lot has changed, and young faces. And this is my whole theory as I wrap this show up. How important it is when you draft a player and when you evaluate a player, how important it is to know what school he comes from. I want y'all to think about that right quick. I want y'all to listen to me. I want y'all to think. How important it is when you evaluate a player, okay? Not only when you evaluate a player, but you see the type of championship DNA this player have. And y'all probably sitting around right now looking around, probably talking about, say, what this nigga talking about? Let me tell you. This past weekend, I noticed something. When the Saints were struggling this past weekend against the Philadelphia Eagles, there was two key players in this ball game that stepped up the most. Number one would be Marshawn Lattimore, and number two was Michael Thomas. Touchdown 171 on the day. So this is what I'm asking, and I want y'all to understand. These two players have played in that same building a few years back against Alabama in the Final Four. They was trying to get themselves to go to Dallas to play Oregon in the championship game. So how much, when you draft a player, when you evaluate a player, how much does looking at what, not only what they do on the field, but big-time plays and big-time moments, because I want to say Michael Thomas had 63 yards and a touchdown against Alabama in the semis in the Sugar Bowl. How much does that play into a player DNA? Like, you know, in NBA 2K, after you win the championship, they got called NBA, I think it's called championship DNA. I think and you go, if you win a championship on the first year, you feel the meter all the way up. Like once you get to the championship, you're not losing that bad boy. So how much of that really plays an impact with guys who have played in the Final Four in college, and I'm talking about college football, but guys who have played in the Final Four in college, going to NFL, not playing in these big moments. Two Ohio State Buckeyes has really stepped up and helped New Orleans maintain to win that game on Sunday. Marshawn Lattimore caught 2 interceptions, and Michael Thomas had a Michael Thomas day at the right time when the rest of the team was struggling. I think that really is good for football with this college football playoff. You see how it's playing off. Alabama guys playing in big spots. I mean, Mark Ingram has played in the championship game in the BCS era against the Texas Longhorns. Remember that. You feel what I'm saying? Ted Ginn, I think Ted was a part that year in the same building playing against LSU in Les Miles' first championship back in 2007 against Ohio State. Remember that? Come on, man. We talking something right quick. Guys who've been in these positions before. Now, granted, again, them lost. But still, guys who've been playing in these big games for years. This ain't nothing to them. Respect Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks going back to his second conference championship game this year. He played in the AFC last year. So, got a lot to say, man. I mean, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I think this win Sunday against the Rams is going to say a lot. Especially if New Orleans can get to the Super Bowl. Win the Super Bowl, it'll be kind of a, because I'm going to tell you something. I was pulling for the Eagles to win last year because Brandon Cooks was on the team and for the Patriots. And I like Brandon Cooks. I did. I loved him when he was in New Orleans, but I felt like he felt threatened by Michael Thomas. And I also felt like Sean was going in another direction with him because he wasn't getting used the right way. He wanted to be the guy in New Orleans. You know, I mean, sad to see. Like New England didn't want to pay him. New Orleans didn't want to pay him. New Orleans saw something else in Michael Thomas. And granted, it worked out for both sides. I mean, we got Ryan Ramczyk. New England don't even have Brandon Cooks anymore. That was just a rental deal. So, if you ask me, this is what I got to say about it is, I want to win this Super Bowl not only to get our second world title, but to put it in his face. Because I think the Rams are going to win a championship. But it's going to be, they got to hit it in the next 2 years while they got all these pieces before they got to start paying everybody. Because they got to pay the quarterback. They got to pay the running back. They got to play some pieces on defense. They all in or nothing. I think both teams, to be honest with you, really all in right now. They got to do it now. So I got the Saints winning. I got the Patriots winning. I got the Saints and the Patriots. And, you know, before we get there, I'm for sure going to come back and talk a little bit more about that. But as of right now, we're not going to even go that far into details about something that we gotta wait for about another 2 weeks. But